Where do you think the market cap is going? I think we're at 3.5 trillion at the top of the last cycle in 2021. Blockchain, but I don't think there's really an accurate forecast you could put on, because we don't know how much liquidity is going to get pumped in the system if they turn the money printers on. You see what I'm saying? So like, it's kind of like we've never been here before. So I don't have an answer to that.
Well, I was talking to like a high-level JP Morgan guy at that Ron DeSantis event, and shout out to my Greek brother, because he was Greek too. And he was telling me like, yeah, man, like basically everybody here is trying to come in. We just don't have the regulatory clarity. I think there was a few catalysts that needed to happen before the bull run happened. I think we needed to see the SBF trial finish. We needed to see Ripple either win or lose, which that's pretty much over with.
Pretty much over.
And we need to see regulatory clarity. I think regulatory clarity will either start or finish the next bull market. And I'm thinking it's more like closer to finishing it. I don't think we're going to get regulatory clarity soon, but I think we will see a spot ETF happen. That combined with the halvening, we're going to see there's a possibility we breach $10 trillion. But here's the thing. It's not going to the altcoins. Okay, the vast majority of this money is going straight to Bitcoin. So I'm actually way more bullish on Bitcoin than I was last cycle, because the institutional money will turn this asset from a college kids speculation fund into something that people will retire with. And it's not coming back down. Like, that's the thing that people don't get. There is a limited time you have left to buy Bitcoin under 100,000. And I would venture to say, there's a possibility we see Bitcoin, bump up all the way to 130, 140K, come back down maybe around 90 or 80. But I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin under $100,000 past 2025. And that's literally going to be a year away in a few months. So keep that in mind, guys. The middle of this decade is rapidly approaching. We are running out of time to accumulate.
Incredible. And, going back to your event with Ron DeSantis. So, obviously we've seen Ron DeSantis say a lot of pro Bitcoin stuff, anti-CBD stuff, anti-WEF stuff. But did you feel that your message was getting across? Like, did you feel that they were actually listening to you and Josh? Do you feel that like y'all influenced, because that's just awesome to think that y'all are, helping shaping common sense policy, not just for Florida, but for the nation. Did you seem receptive to y'all's message?
So, I'm glad you asked that question, man. It's certainly been something we've been working towards. Actually, yesterday was the official announcement of Josh, me, and Gary Shang joining the Florida Blockchain Business Association, the lobbying group here out of Florida. We were joining them as an influencer committee here. And so that's a lobbying fund run by a very good friend of mine named Samuel Arms. Everyone should go check them out if they want to learn more about Florida policy. I've actually known Sam since 2017. So we've been locked in for a long time, since I was 16 years old. And now we're here, which is crazy. And so when we got a chance to talk to DeSantis, it was a room of about 50, 60 people by that point. And they only took 7 questions. And so 2 of those questions were for me and Josh. And I asked him essentially, hey, like we've seen this positive legislation pass in Wyoming for, basically saying, hey, let the state figure out what it wants to do with digital assets at the state level, because we have more of a voice there. And he said, not only is he open to passing a law like that, his team is working on that as we speak. So very bullish. And of course, we were able to get the anti-CBDC bill penned by the Florida Blockchain Business Association passed earlier this year. So we've not only been able to affect positive change through this legislation, we're continuing to commit to pushing for this at the state and federal level going into 2024.
In Blockchain Boy, it's bigger than what you can even imagine, because my state representative, I live in Louisiana, in my area, I've been telling them about a lot of the stuff. And, with politicians, it's CBDC. What does that mean? What are you talking about? But he's actually been in talks with DeSantis, and, they're trying to push legislation now in Louisiana to block these CBDCs. So, what you're doing is having an effect, not just in Florida, but on the rest of the nation. Now, what I see is happening is that, obviously the states govern themselves. But like you said, as the regulatory clarity gets through with the spot ETF, they just can't stop it, man. Like, it's here. No. They hate it. They're gritting their teeth the whole way. And they're like, you know what? We'll make fees off that Blockchain Boy. We're going to charge him some transaction fees. That's what we're going to do.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. So, crypto is now a partisan issue. As much as I don't want to say that, I think it's the reality we have to face. Crypto is a partisan issue. It's clearly become a right wing talking point, at
Hmm.
least from some politicians. So, I'm going to continue to work with Republicans here in Florida, to try and push that narrative further up the chain. But I'll tell you what. I'm a registered Republican in the state of Florida, but I've also been a Democrat. Okay, I've also been a libertarian, registered as all three. I consider myself more of like a third party person in general because I think a bipartisan system never really works. But I want to sit down with Republicans to try and craft positive legislation, and I want to sit down with Democrats to help them understand what we're doing here is not funding state terrorism. It's not funding, the war and in Israel. The vast majority of us are here trying to build the next layer of the financial system. And I think communicating that towards Democrats as someone who's currently a Republican, reaching across the aisle is very important to me. And I want to continue to preach this message to all who's going to listen.